Hello and welcome to this brief introduction to file profiling, which is a key process in digital preservation. By the end of this training video, you will have an understanding of what digital preservation is, and why it is important. You will also understand the role of file profiling, and what it can do for you. And you will have an awareness of some of the file profiling software available to you. I will introduce you to some of the terminology used in the digital preservation field. Computer file formats are changing all the time. New formats continue to be created, and older formats are being updated to new versions, or falling out of use altogether. If we want to be able to operate accountably, legally, effectively and efficiently, then we need to achieve digital continuity. If we lose information, because we haven't managed our digital continuity properly, the consequences can be extremely serious. For record keepers responsible for the records of government, business and our cultural history, this work needs to be given a high priority. File profiling can help you to manage your information more effectively. It helps you to identify risks and take action to avoid losing important digital objects. File profiling also helps us to establish how trustworthy a data object is. The data extracted during file profiling can help to establish the reliability, authenticity and accuracy of a data object. Obsolescence can occur when a digital object can no longer be accessed, either because the hardware, software, or the physical media containing it are no longer in general use. When we know that some of our digital objects are at risk of obsolescence, then we can take some mitigating action. We do this by moving a digital object through different digital platforms into a platform and new format that can be used to open it. This process is known as migration. If your organization has a large number of different file formats, the migration process can also be used to reduce the range of formats you are using. PRONOM and DROID are file profiling tools developed by the National Archives. PRONOM is the most widely used technical registry of file format signatures in the digital preservation sector. And DROID uses the PRONOM registry to try to identify and validate digital objects. One way it can do this is by looking at its file extension. However, this is not entirely reliable because some formats share the same extension, and extensions can be changed. This report exported from DROID shows the file extension and the date it was last opened. DROID has found the format name and version here. We call this process of extracting digital information characterization. After identification, DROID then uses PRONOM to verify and validate the formats of the digital objects, which it does by checking the extracted metadata against the file format information stored in PRONOM. This is called validation. In this report, the file format has been identified by its file signature. A file signature is a sequence of characters that indicates a particular file format. Each unique file format in the PRONOM registry has its own identifying code. You can use this code to find out more about the file format. You can search the PRONOM registry online. This shows the specifications of the file format identified in my report. PRONOM will advise on its risk of obsolescence and its migration pathway should we need it. Each digital object is given a checksum generated by DROID. If the checksum is the same when generated at a later date, then we know that the digital object has not changed. In this training video, we have learned that digital preservation is important if we want to continue to be able to access digital objects. The role of file profiling is to help us to identify and validate the file formats of our digital objects. File profiling enables us to establish any obsolescence risks, manage digital information more effectively, and determine the trustworthiness of our digital objects. You now know about some of the functions of DROID, the file format data it extracts, and how it uses PRONOM to validate the data objects it identifies. You should now feel more familiar with these digital preservation terms. So, are you ready to take your next steps into learning about file profiling and digital preservation? Here are my suggestions for what to look at next. Download DROID and run some test reports. There are instructions on the National Archives website. Then use some of the extracted data to search the PRONOM database. And have a look at the Open Archival Information System, known as the OAS reference model, for a deeper insight into digital preservation. Thanks for watching.
Good luck with your digital preservation journey.